The creation of Thor's hammer. One day, Loki, the trickster, found himself in an especially mischievous mood and cut off all the golden hair of Sif, the wife of Thor. When Thor learned of this, his quick temper was enraged, and he seized Loki and threatened to break every bone in his body. Loki pleaded with the thunder god to let him go down to Savasarm, the cavernous home of the dwarves, and see if those master craft people could fashion a new head of hair for Sif. This one even more beautiful than the original. Thor allowed this, and off Loki went to Salfasam. There he was able to obtain what he desired. The sons of the dwarf Ivaldi forged not only a new head of hair for Sif, but also two other marvels. Skidablar, which means assembled from thin pieces of wood, the best of all ships, which was always a favorable wind, which always has a favorable wind and can be folded up and put into one's pocket.
You can fold wind.
And Gundar, meaning saying, the deadliest of all spears. Having accomplished his task, Loki was overcome by an urge to remain in the caves of the dwarves and revel in even more recklessness. He approached the brothers Bokr and Sindri and taunted them, saying that he was sure the brothers could never forge 3 new creations equal to those of the sons of Ivaldi had fashioned. In fact, he even bet his head on their lack of ability. Bokr and Sindri, however, accepted the wager. As they worked, a fly, who of course was none other than Loki in disguise, stung Sardi's hand. When the dwarf pulled his creation out of the fire, it was a living boar with golden hair.
Living boar with golden hair?
Yeah. This was Goldenbursi, meaning golden bristled, who gave off light in the dark and could run better than any horse, even through water or air. Sindri then set another piece of gold on the fire as Bokr worked the bellows. The fly bit Bokr on the neck, and Sindri drew out a magnificent ring, Drompinur, meaning dripper. From this ring, every 9th night, fall 8 golden new rings of equal weight. Sindri then put the iron on the hearth and told Bokr that for this next working, they must be especially meticulous, for a mistake would be more costly than the previous 2 projects. Loki immediately stung Bokr's eyelid, and the blood blocked the dwarf's eye, preventing him from properly seeing his work. Sindri produced a hammer of unsurpassed quality which never missed its mark. It would boomerang back to its owner after being thrown. But it had one flaw. The handle was short. Sindri lamented that this had almost ruined the piece, which was called Mjölnir, lightning. Nevertheless, sure as the great worth of their 3 treasures, Sindri and Bokr made their way to Asgard to claim the wages that were due to them. Loki made it to the halls of the gods before the dwarves and presented the marvels he had acquired. To Thor he gave Sif's new hair and the hammer Mjölnir. To Odin went the ring of Dimpur and the spear of Gunnar, and Freyr was happy recipient of Skinabar and Goldenbasti. As graceful as the gods were to receive these gifts, especially Mjölnir, which they foresaw would be of immeasurable help in their battle against the giants, they nevertheless concluded that Loki still owed the dwarves his head. When the dwarves approached Loki with knives, the cunning god pointed out that he had promised them his head, but not his neck. Bokr and Sindri contented themselves with sewing Loki's mouth shut and returning to their forge. The end.